Welcome back to the podcast. This is Matt Eagle from Eagle AI Agency. If you've been following along, we've been doing interviews across now, I think, 55 business owners, CEOs, and staffing, HR recruiting, coaching, executive coaching, and all the others, mindfulness and others. We have Kristine on today. And so if you've been following along, the main focus we've had is how we started coaching, right? How did we actually start in the business? What's created success so far? And then how's AI made an impact? And so, Kristine, if you want to go ahead and introduce your business, and then we'll jump right into the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matthew, for having me. So, my business is Effective Focus Inc. And what we do is we do one-on-one executive coaching, focus on the leadership coaching of director and above. And then we also have two programs. One program, I'm accredited by the International Coach Federation to credential ICF coaches. And so that's exciting. And then I have a leadership program that I bring into organizations that help leaders become more coach-like in their approach and to get more out of their individuals as they are developing people. So, and the really the fourth thing that is really new is I'm doing some online content just for short snippets of learning. So when you're
Yeah,
able to get in there and want to learn something new, you can choose one of my courses.
that's amazing. And I know you talked about certified coaches. Talk to me a little bit about how everybody's a coach today and um, the idea of just being certified and the difference, and then the validity
Yeah.
of making sure that you're a fully verified coach.
Yeah, so there's, to be fair, there's a lot of good coaches out there that are not credentialed. There's people who've really taken the time to learn the craft. So there, but that is a small percentage.
Mm.
The difference between a credentialed coach and a non-credentialed coach is that the biggest difference, I have to say the biggest difference, but there's several big differences. The top one that I'll start with is that they are held accountable by an ethics board. And so, as a client, if you have a issue with that coach, maybe they have done something unethical, they have a broken trust, confidentiality. You actually have someone to go to help um, help that coach out.
Mm.
And, they hold them accountable, and in extreme cases, they can actually take the credential away from them.
Mm.
And if you're earning your money through that credential process that you've built a business on, that's a big deal. Now, someone who doesn't have a credential, you have no one but maybe the Better Business Bureau to go to, and
Yeah,
that's a very small slap on the wrist, and it doesn't really do much. So
yeah,
that's a big piece of that, and that's why a lot of organizations are looking for credentialed coaches, because there is that accountability that's built in.
yeah.
Um, a couple of other pieces that I find is really important is that through the International Coach Federation, ICF, they have a rigorous process. So for the coaches that I credential for the ACC, which is the associate coach credential, it is you have to get 100 hours of coaching before you can take a test to become a coach. You have to have up to between 60 and 84 hours of actually, it's just 60. I do 84 because I'm an overachiever, but in my program, but 60 hours of training. And that has to be at least 50% live and 50% kind of recorded and things like that. So there is some rigor behind that. There's 10 mentoring hours that the coaches have to go through, and those mentoring hours look like the coachee, the student coachee records a coaching session with a client, and that session is reviewed by their mentor, which is me in my program. And then we're able to go through it and look at it through a competency lens and
Mm.
see what exactly they're hitting and what they're missing. and we have 10 of those before they can get even sign up for their final tests for the ICF.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because everybody's a coach today, and
Yeah.
the accountability is gonna be imperative to know that you're actually getting somebody that cares. Um,
Yes.
I think I just saw it the other day, the online coaching space has been the biggest boom since 2020 to 2026. But the second thing is it's starting to go downhill a little bit with AI and that there's so many duplicates. So being able to separate yourself as a certified coach is probably the number one ways to do it. Be like, I'm fully certified. I have an authority like looking over my shoulder to ensure that you're great success, those things, right?
Yes,
Which is so
absolutely.
important. How long have you had your business for now?
So I opened my own business in 2014.
Mhm.
So that makes it 12 years.
Mhm. Yeah, 12 years. I had to look down too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what year is this? Um, I started the business after I left corporate. I was in corporate, and that's where I started coaching. Is I was in an organization. I was bored, and it was really by accident. I went to my leaders and said, I'd really like some development because I'm kind of bored, and they were open to it. And they said, go find something that you're interested in, and let us see. So I came across a coaching program that was back in the day. So this was early 2000s. This is like 2001. And we did everything on bridge calls, which is, a conference call way back then.
Yeah.
And we rotated hours because to accommodate all the different countries that were on the call. So you never had a consistent call. It was always kind of pre-planned, but it would be at a different time to accommodate a different time zone. And then we got these great big manuals in the mail. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
when they first started coaching and teaching coaching, and it really changed who I was. I mean,
Mhm.
there is a line in my life that is a pre-coaching Kristine and a post-coaching Kristine. And it just made me so much of a better listener and someone who wasn't ready to sit down and solve your problems for you, but was someone who would work with you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay, awesome. And then so when you started your business, I always like to go operator side. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's like my thing. What what helped you build your pipeline? What helped you generate revenue? What helped you continue to generate revenue? And then what's maybe changed in the last 3, 4 years of your business that wasn't the same in 2014?
Yeah. So, it was a slow start. A lot of coaches believe once they get their accreditation or put their shingle out, they're going to start making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is not the case
Yeah.
for nearly 99.9% of us. Um, but what I did is mainly word of mouth. I mean, people who knew me and, at the early stages, I did a lot of networking, in-person networking, and just kinda got my name out there, and then, one person recommended me to this person, and that person recommended me to another person, and then I got some corporate, gigs, and that really changed the trajectory of my business, um, and that was really it, and going forward, I mean, even after that, the word of mouth has definitely been a big piece of my marketing. I mean, I've spent way too much money on marketing that didn't work. Um, I believe that in a coaching situation, a one-on-one coaching situation, you're probably going to find somebody who has used that coach before and be more comfortable with them because it's a very intimate setting.
Mhm.
You're being able to share your thoughts, what you want to do better, and really dig into that kind of thing. And that's really hard to buy off an ad.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's been the biggest thing. I have started as far as helping more marketing type things is by doing my online courses to where get people in, get them to know me because I did a lot of speaking engagements before COVID, and I would get organizations interested in that. I would get individual clients interested in that through that. And those kind of, went away after
Yeah.
COVID. I've done a few after COVID, but it's not the same. It's just
Mhm.
something's very different about that. And then I've also done online conferences to where it was all virtual, and that's been helpful, but then you don't get the after the day's over mingling that you get to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Um, but I am speaking this October at the HR Southwest conference. I'm doing a pre-conference workshop on ROI for our
Mhm.
coaches and HR professionals, and then I'm doing a powerful questioning during their regular run of the conference. So that'll help as well.
Yeah, so a lot of it was organic networking, right? Where have you seen, and you're still doing some of that now. I'm sure you have an established base, but where have you seen maybe where there's a little bit of a difference of organic networking today, right? So like maybe it's harder to organically network. It's harder, because as I see it, especially starting a business in 2025, going into 2026 and helping companies scale, they don't even think about in-person networking anymore, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
It's tougher. There's not a lot of things that happen naturally.
Mm,
Um, because, if you're in person, there's usually a pre-gathering of people. You get to mix and mingle.
mhm.
You get to know people that are in the audience a little bit better. And I love doing that because then I can use what I've learned in whatever I'm talking about. And then afterwards, you have people that come up to you and talk to you. There's business card exchange and things like that. And, with virtual, you miss out on all that. You
Yep.
definitely do.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely more challenging.
Yeah. I would say, obviously you're starting up that social media now, right? Are you starting to see that importance of like organic presence that people see you kind of everywhere so your brand is known, that kind of stuff? Like what's the strategy for that?
Yes, yes. So, I use LinkedIn a lot, and I advertise my classes on LinkedIn. I try to post. I'm not as good as posting the random, "Hey, did you know about this?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm more consistent in posting things about upcoming classes, things like that, so that people can kinda see that brand coming through. And, and really linking in with associations has been another piece of that. So,
Mhm.
people where my people gather,
Yeah. Just
where else do
virtually.
they get? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just virtually, yeah. It's getting into the right groups and those things. Have you found that like when you're building out these social medias and that kind of stuff, how much time it takes today where you have 7 accounts and content going in each one of
Yeah.
those? Like how has that changed for you in the last few years?
Well, that's where I think AI has been a huge help.
Yeah.
Um, Before, I would either spend time on Canva designing, these posters that you put out on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the others. And, or I would pay for somebody to do that, which gets
Yeah.
really expensive really quick. And I have been really amazed at what ChatGTP or PT has been doing for me.
Yeah.
I'll put in the stats of things that I've done. I'll put in, my ideal client and ask it to make a visual of that. And I may have to do really small tweaks, but I can do 10 of those easily one morning
Yeah.
and have the rest of my day
Yeah. Do
earning
anything else you want. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Instead of
that's
spending hours, right?
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
then, going back over it and double checking, and you still have to double check, AI, but it's, uh it's so much easier to convey what I want to AI than it is to another person.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I 100% agree. I'm a Claude fan. That's just my thing, Claude Code. I actually hooked up Claude Code to Canva. So I can use Canva, but just prompt it through Claude Code to build it from like
Nice.
a Canva platform. So just so many things that can be automated that a lot of people don't realize. Even the posting, right? I think I spend maybe an hour a week, but I have about 50 posts go out, whether it's
Oh,
newsletters, emails, that kind of stuff. And
right.
I think with small businesses that they're going to be impacted tremendously if they're not picking up like the brand awareness, they're not picking up the socials, they're not picking up how people are actually buying today.
Yeah.
It really you track behavior, and the behavior then becomes your lead strategy, and then lead strategy reverse engineers revenue, right? So it really comes down to like, are you diving in just to understand? I love what you're doing because sometimes you're just jumping on Chat GPT and say, build me this thing. And then you're like, whoa, right? And it just starts there. I did that 6 months ago and now I'm fully architect in all AI, right? It was just crazy. So, and I know you shared a platform, but what's your perspective? Because I love executive coaches because you guys are good with the psychology behind change, right? Like how to embrace change. How should you view yourself when you're changing, right? So on and so forth. So, what's your perspective on AI and the change of AI specifically? And I don't know if you know this, but with AGI coming through, AGI is just like, let's just say you have AI today, make it 100 times faster and 100 times smarter. That's what's happened 2 weeks ago, right?
Wow.
Well, it's only going to get worse, right? Not better. So how would you introduce change to people, especially when it comes to AI? Because I've met a lot of people like, I hate it. I got a phone call. I sent a newsletter out. Got a phone call, and he's like, I hate what you're doing. Right? You're taking jobs. You're doing this. Right? The idea is this for me is that you can't. You're not going to be able to avoid it. Right? So how would you describe to somebody how to think about change when it comes to AI?
Um, First thing is don't be afraid of it.
Mhm.
Fear it goes with change hand in hand. We
Exactly.
don't like
Mhm.
to change. We're afraid of the unknown, and the more that we embrace the things that are coming into our lives that are new, that are different, the more we can learn about them, you know, learn about it before you have an opinion on it. See what
Mhm.
it can do for you, understand how you can make it safe for you. A lot of people think that, well, all of my stuff is going to be everywhere. No, there's ways to keep that
Curious.
safe.
Yeah.
And staying curious, I mean, one of my biggest I think anybody who's ever worked with me, if you ask them, what is the thing that Kristine says the most, and it's to stay curious
Mhm.
throughout any change, throughout life. Stay curious. We all think that we know what's going to happen. We all think that we're fortune tellers, and we're not.
Yeah.
But we feel that way. We feel, oh, if I do this, this will happen, or this will take this away from me. This will be bad. And we never think about this will be good. We always
Yeah.
kind of go into that bad idea. And so when we look at that, it's really important to embrace the change, stay curious, and just keep trying things out. You don't have to turn your entire business over to AI,
Correct.
but there are pieces that you can turn over to AI that will make your life much more enjoyable.
Mhm.
It will take the task away that are mundane, and then even that, talk to other people who have been successful with it. When we talk about change, I go through a kind of a 6-step process that I kind of meld it together from a couple of other change gurus. And the first step is ask yourself why. Why do I want this change? Why do I want to investigate this change and figure that out and make sure you've got the right reasons behind
Mhm.
it. Um and then when you have that, create that end goal of what do you want this to do for you at the very end? What do you want it to look like? And then what are the barriers between that? How are you going to communicate this new vision that you have? And what are some ways that you can reinforce it? And I just say that embrace AI as you do any other change, um, but do it in a way that can accelerate you
Mhm.
and not hold you back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things I found, I've worked with very smart people for my business to help them integrate AI. And the one thing they said is AI makes me feel stupid, right? Because they're like trying to figure, they're so sharp and they're super, smart. And then AI makes them feel dumb. And I find that to be, a barrier because it's just brand new to you again, right?
Yeah.
It took you
Yeah.
20 years to become this sharp in finance or in business ownership and everything else. And this is completely brand new. So sometimes you have to just start all over. Be like, let me restart my mind, right? Of I'm
Yeah.
starting from the beginning, but then get some help, right? That's kind of where for me, just to put a little plug in, I've created an education system for people who want to just know AI from the core and how to help you in the business, right? Because there's either buying very expensive white label products for $10,000 a month, and then there's learning by yourself. There's no like, let's learn together and find the best tools that can
Yeah.
come together for you. And then understanding like more complex systems. ChatGPT is great. Then you go into Codex. Don't like it, but that's okay. Codex, then you can move into Claude Code, where you're now building agents, and then you understand. It typically takes my students 2 weeks to be like, Matt, I don't need you. This totally makes sense because AI is so simple to use, right?
Yeah.
And then
That's
if as long as you
awesome.
keep getting the information, for newer tools and how to use them, then you start understanding that it's mainly how you think and how you prompt that really decides the agent's actions. So then you become like an operator. You start thinking the right way, the prompting, the actions, all those things. And I found that once people get to that place, they're good to go. They know everything about AI because it's not as complicated as people think, right?
Yeah.
Especially today, it's evolved to a place where it's just speak to engineering, speak to engineering. It's not speak engineer then engineer. So it's kind of like a third phase iteration for AI for anybody to learn how to build it, right? So
Yeah.
this is pretty much the end of the call. Where can people find you if they wanted to reach out? Like all those things. Just wanted to give you a quick plug. Do you have any books that you've written? Any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, actually, I have. So first, the website is Effective Focus Inc. .com, and you can find all of my information there. You can even schedule time with me on that website. I have a book that I wrote several years ago called "Obligated No More," and it's available on Amazon and Friesen Press. And it is really built for those who don't can't afford a coach, maybe. It takes you through some exercises and things that you can work through on different topics. And it's about really leaving guilt behind and not feeling obligated to do the things that are keeping you stuck. And it's also built for coaches to use with their clients.
Mm,
So it's
man.
a dual process or a dual benefit
Yeah,
book.
for you and your clients to leverage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Well, awesome.
absolutely.
Well, thanks again for jumping on. Thank you for your insight. I know you're somebody that's been embracing AI, which is, fresh air for me. Um, but also it shows the one thing that you probably can imagine is um, age being a barrier, right? A lot of people get nervous. A lot of people just say, no, thank you, or they just completely deny it. So I love when
Yeah.
people who have been in business for 14 years say, I'm going to just go ahead and just change it, right?
Yes.
I'm going to embrace the change, not fear it, do all those things. I would love to call
Yeah.
myself an optimist, right? The more you see it, there's more good than there is bad.
Yeah.
AI is not going to take over the world, hopefully, but if it does, either way, you were successful in your business before it did, right? And then
That's right.
that's
Absolutely.
how.
And hey, it may be a better world.
Exactly. Don't take me there. I know that's a fact. Well, again, thank you so much for jumping on. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.